Volkswagen presented their small SUV, Seat did. Now it's Skoda's turn with the Skoda Kamiq. This one is the new smallest SUV from the Skoda brand. And we will take a look at exterior and the interior right here. What's it all about? Let's go. In the front, the Kamiq gets the typical Skoda front grille and then those very slim LED daytime running light from this Czech-inspired glass craftsmanship. Very interesting. The real main headlamp unit is below that here. Optionally, you can also get LED for it. And in the lower part, this one here, a contrasting scheme to the white exterior color. So for a small SUV, a modern and also strong look. 4 meters 24 or 167 inches is the total length. And you might wonder, wait a minute, this is the length of a compact segment vehicle, but it is based on a small car platform, the MQB A0. The sibling would be Seat Arona and the Volkswagen T-Cross. But as Skoda usually does with the same vehicle, they go between those segments. So they go always a little bit longer, so to say, to offer more space on the interior. Very interesting concept. Also the new Skoda Scala, the new, well, it is also again small car platform base, but is in size also a compact vehicle. This would be also a sibling of this one. This one you could also say it's a Scala SUV because this one sits 4 centimeters higher than the Scala in comparison. It's also available with an underfloor cover, by the way, so somewhat off-road capable. 16 to 18 inch wheels available. Those ones are the biggest one, 18 inch. Other than that, in the design, you see the design line here over on top of the door handles. We also know those door handles, they've been using them all over the Volkswagen Corporation, but they're actually quite solid and have a nice door closing sound from the whole door, really nicely done. Roof rail right there, pretty much upright the whole vehicle. It's a rather conservative design, but that's what Skoda usually does. But we've seen in the front, it's not conservative at all, just maybe a little bit here in the side profile, but you can already see that probably a lot will be fitting in that vehicle. Next to the standard suspension, the Kamiq will also feature a sport suspension that is then a centimeter lower and also features a sport button to make it even stiffer, to have 2 fixed damper rate, either normal or a sport damper rate, like you probably know from the so-called Sport Select suspension, which the Volkswagen Polo also offers. You can see here the tail lamps right there with an interesting daytime, well, it's not a daytime running light at the moment, the standing light, but also with the swing and then at the side, again, this glass craftsmanship work, beautifully done. The rest of the hatch is again then rather conservative, typical hatch form with the Skoda logo right there. And I'm really excited what will fit in that trunk. Let's soon find out. As for the engines, they offer a choice of petrol, diesel, and also so-called G-Tech. This is a CNG engine. So there's a 3-cylinder, 1-liter petrol engine with 95 or 115 horsepower. Then there's the 4-cylinder 1.5 TSI with 150 horsepower, optional with DSG. 1.6-liter TDI with 115 horsepower. And then the 1-liter G-Tech engine, 90 horsepower. It's a similar one to the 95 horsepower petrol engine, also 3-cylinder, just, you know, that it will be bivalent also with petrol and CNG, both possible. This car is all about the interior because Skoda usually offers a lot of room, but is it also premium on the interior? Let's find out. Well, and on the top of the door here, there is a structured surface and it's not entirely hard packed, so that's better than, for example, from the siblings we've seen. Then a nice contrast here with the bright fabric, then also galvanized levers, a lot of room at the inside of the door, so that looks really cool and feels also good. Then a typical Skoda steering wheel. Soon I'll tell you more about the different gauges available and the infotainment systems. Here the most interesting thing we can see are those new seats. They are completely new. They are from all fabric, and in this trim here they also have contrasting colors, so some bright elements right there and some darker, also gray. It's again this living room style that is actually at the moment more modern, and again a great example that it does not always have to be animal skin. It can also be a fabric that is also more breathable, so to say. So in summer times it doesn't get that hot, and in winter times doesn't get that cold. And this is the lowest position of the seat here at the moment. Manual control, and I'm 1 m 86 or 6'1", and this is one with a panoramic roof. I'll soon show you, but even if I have the panoramic roof, there's still a lot of headroom left. So also for tall people, no problem. Steering wheel can be adjusted in height and in width like this. Also a smooth process. And it's a really comfortable seating position. Like those seats, you can then also adjust the angle right there or pump it up y'all like this. So does it feel like a small vehicle? Not really. Again, it has already the length of a compact car and it almost feels like an even bigger one. So this is really an SUV where you say you buy one that you can still park in and out in the city, but already it offers you a lot of room, at least from the first impression you get. Will be even more important if you get behind me here in the back seat and we look together at the front. From the top dashboard here, by the way, also soft touch materials have been used. So this is really, you know, also a high trim vehicle here they put on the show here, but this is really premium. So it's not the highest trim we have here. This one is still the analog instrument cluster. I would have no problem with that, with a small digital screen in the middle. But for this vehicle, you can optionally also get the full virtual cockpit, 10.25 inch. So that would be all digital then, optional. Also on the right side, you'll have either 6.5, 8 inch, and to my guess, this one should be the 8-inch screen because it's already a little bit bigger, but still has some knobs for volume. And also, if you are in the GPS map, you can zoom in and out with the right knob or control it while driving a little bit better. And the top one then would be the 9.2 inch, which is then also the biggest in the segment, even bigger screen, and then you would have no buttons left. Interior overview again is a really nice, clean layout. Also looks quite good with the bright contrast here. And by the way, just as a proof, this one here is in diagonal is 20 centimeters and that's 8 inch. So this indeed is the 8-inch screen. It does not have here at the moment the GPS, but you can also get a GPS for it. And there's also here the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto connection if you want so. The climate unit can be still accessed manually and interesting with the metal knurling around. So again, another premium feature for this vehicle, which is supposed to be not that expensive. Seat heating if you want so. In this case, a 5-speed manual gearbox. There's also the DSG dual clutch transmission available. And then in the front part, there's an inductive charging port for your phone. It's not properly powered at the moment, but for example here, the iPhone X directly fits in there. Other than that, you can also charge it, or for the connection to the Apple CarPlay, here are 2 USB-C ports. Well, for the iPhone X at the moment, not good. You need an adapter at the moment for that, but they're going all USB-C now for the new cars, because that one will be is at the moment already quite common for some smartphones and will be for more quite soon. Also has a big glove box compartment, can also be cooled. Then additional storage space here underneath the co-driver seat, but just a little bit right there. Still a manual handbrake. I still like that somehow, just, you know, for some drifting. Then 12-volt power supply. The cup holders are not adaptive. And a very nice fabric armrest, also very well attached here. You can slide it in the front like this, and in the rear, and cubby hole underneath. This car can also be bought with a panoramic roof, unlike, for example, it's not available for Seat Arona or for the T-Cross, not in the European T-Cross at least. This one here cannot be opened, but it can be slid all the way open, basically. So there's a shade available, and then it goes all the way all over the vehicle. So leaves a lot of light in the interior. Cannot see that well here on the motor show atmosphere, but pretty impressive. Although I also prefer ones that you can also really open to leave some fresh air in. Now to the rear compartment. That's what a lot of Skoda vehicles are about. And wow, I have the seat set to my driving position here in the front, so a rather tall driver. And this leaves plenty of legroom. Wow, this is so spacious here. And I mean, if you think about other cars that have the same length, they have way less legroom. So this is, and also like how we can move here to the sides. In the back part, by the way, is a little bit more hard pack material at the inside of the doors, but it has the same structure, so you don't have a plain black plastic. It has a nice, interesting structure, so again, a premium feeling. Headroom, of course, a little bit maybe reduced here, but those panoramic roofs that you cannot open, they usually do not reduce the headroom that much. Those you can open, they need more space, to have this open folding mechanism, but they here, those fixed panoramic roofs, they should come quite close to the rest of the headroom that is available, and that is still okay here also in the rear. And you also sit quite low as for the rear passengers, I have to say. But again, you can move around here so freely. It feels so much like an open space here. Really interesting. Optional also seat heating for the rear seats even. Also, by the way, from the front seats, of course, also with seat heating available. Heated steering wheel is available. Isofix at the outside of the seats each for the child seats. Then you have some cup holders right there. You cannot push the bench forward or backward, but I mean, you have plenty of space available. You can already flip those seats in a 2/3, 1/3 split from here. Oh, there's here another top tether, but you can also use it as, for a hanger for a shopping bag. Again, the result here, how much room you have available, is really phenomenal. Very interesting detail. This one here also comes, when you want one, with this door protection. So when you fold it out, it's just a mechanical process that the door sill is being protected. It's for the front and for the rear doors, actually. You can see it here. There is quite high positions here, but I think that's a good idea as well. So it protects your own vehicle and also the enemy vehicle or the ally vehicle. Let's take it the ally vehicle for sure. Please no more on the streets. Now the trunk. This is of course really interesting. Electric hatch here, by the way, and to close it again, you can either put the button. There's also the foot kick opening mechanism available, by the way, and there's this new, let's say, one-tip system that you can also just, get like a tip like this, and then it closes the rest. This is also an interesting function for sure that makes life a little bit easier. The liter figures would be 400 liters like this, up to 1,400 liters when we flip it. You can see, you can also, I'm quite sure it's available. There's also like a forked floor cover. You can also see the seal here. Other than that, it goes a little bit deeper in there if you want. Replacement tire is here as well. The height here, if you go all the way down, is about almost 60 centimeters. And if you would use the even door sill, it would be about just 40 centimeters. And in width, we should end up as usual with about a meter. Yes, that's about a meter. Really interesting is now when we flip those seats, as we showed you earlier, in a 1/3, 2/3 split. This would be the 1/3. You should have a gap here at the moment, yes, but then again, I'm quite sure there's also an even floor cover available that makes it a little bit more practical. Then we can put down the 2/3. And what I also did is the co-driver seat can be folded down in the manual version, and this is really cool because the overall length of the trunk here in the normal setup would be about 70 centimeters. Then up to my driver seat, as I would be driving, is 150 meters. And then if we fold down the co-driver seat to all the way front, this is in 2 meters plus, let's see how much we can get further right there. Yeah, it's about 2 meters 40 you can get in the total length right there. And this is, of course, again, spectacular for the size of the car we have here. I think this should really be one of the best package cars we have ever seen if you consider the length on the exterior and then what we get in the interior as for the room and the length available. And now to our conclusion for today with the all-new Skoda Kamiq. By the way, if you've seen in the background Skoda Vision 4, this has nothing to do with the car. They actually put the wrong wallpaper in behind, or decided that they put this car here. And I think it was the right decision not to show the concept car here, but the Kamiq. This one is a very important car. It will be sold actually in very high numbers. And the reason for that is, well, it has a modern exterior. Not too posh for sure, but I think more than enough. And on the interior, really nice fabrics for the seat being used. It has a great design, a clean design. And it has a premium quality. I mean, it is a high trim here, but not all spec we've seen. You've seen, like with the entertainment system, you can go even bigger with those. so it will be quite reasonable in price still. And especially the package, if you consider the exterior length to the room you get on the interior, is just fantastic. To me, I mean, it's not a super spectacular car. It's not a, all leading new concept and so on. But to me, this is one of the best cars that's coming out new at the moment, because you can do so much with this vehicle and still find a parking spot, and also don't exceed, super high prices, but already get a premium quality. What do you think?